All right, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Jeff. I am the owner and founder of Lonepinetactical. I've been a police officer for over 27 years. I've been in the military for 10 years prior to that. I'm a firearms instructor, a SWAT cop, a range master. I'm an armor, and I've had the blessing of so many people sending me to so many different classes throughout my entire career that I was able to learn from some of the greatest instructors out there. And all I want to do, I want to start this, all I want to do is maybe give somebody some information that will save their life someday. And that's all I can ask for. Other than that, I'm just here to have some fun. I'm going to start this out kind of slow, and I'm going to talk to everybody about who I am. And today's topic is going to be purchasing firearms. And then future topics, we're going to go out to the range. We're going to do some shooting. We're going to show you some drills that you can practice, and get you proficient with firearms, and get you where you can really save a lot of time when it comes to possibly having to combat some evil. So first things first, I'm not going to talk politics on here. I'm not going to tell who people should support. I'm not going to. All I say is I will support and fight for the Constitution of the United States. Other than that, I don't care. If somebody wants to say things or make comments on here about that, then that's fine with me. I'm okay with that. But I'm not getting a political argument with people. We will talk, if you have a question on certain things, the Constitution, the Second Amendment, whatever it is, I'll have a conversation with you, not a problem. But I'm just not going to come on here to argue politics. Come on, man. We've had that. This country is just so politically burned out. I have a training philosophy. My training philosophy is it's a way. Whatever I teach you is a way. It's not the way. So if you go to a class and the instructor looks at you and says, this is the only way you can do this, no, it's not. Take note. And there's always change. There's always things that will happen that will change throughout time. I mean, we've learned so many things since all the different wars we've been in. The tactics have changed, things have changed, ammunition, weapons, everything has changed over time. And that's a good thing. We evolve for it's safer for people. But what we're going to talk about today is cleaning your mind before purchasing a firearm. Now, if you're on your way down to the gun shop right now, I want you to take a stop. Sit down for a second and ask yourself, why am I purchasing this gun? Am I purchasing it because I was told to? Am I purchasing it because I was told it's my constitutional right and I have to have this gun? Am I purchasing it because I'm angry? Am I purchasing it because I want vengeance? I was a victim. One of my family members was victims. Or I think it'll make me cool or tough. If any of these things are in your mind, I want you to clean your mind. And remember, by cleaning it, you can never clear your mind. Trust me, we all have those demons hanging out in there that you're like, oh, I want to get rid of this guy, but he just keeps hanging out and coming back every now and then talking to me. But always remember, if you start answering, pop a beer and have a conversation with yourself. But when you run off to the gun store, I want you to have a clean mind. I want you to get those things out, and I want you to ask yourself, why am I going to purchase this gun? I am going to purchase this gun to protect myself, my family, and innocent victims. That's the reason I'm going to carry it. And it's my constitutional right. But that's not the sole reason you're buying it. You're buying it to protect yourself and others. And with the purchase of a firearm comes a lot of responsibility. And that responsibility is train, and train some more. And to know your laws. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the firearm itself. Now, you're going to ask your family members, you're going to ask these men and women who hunt, you're going to ask men and women who love to shoot, you're going to go ask your local law enforcement, you're going to ask your military buddies. Let me give you this. A DD Form 214 does not make a weapons expert. A police officer does not make you a weapons expert. There are a lot of men and women out there that have never been a cop, have never been in the military, and I'll tell you what, I'll listen to what they have to say because they've been behind this thing for years. They've trained. And they know what they are, and they know what they're capable of. So just talk to somebody reputable. Ask somebody about, what kind of firearm do I need? So when you do go down to the gun shop and you walk in this gun shop, I want you to test drive all of them. All right, and what I mean by test driving all of them is I want you to get in there and I want you to start looking at all the firearms they have. And I want you to think about the looks of each one of them. I want you to look at it and say, do I want that one because it's just a beautiful gun? You know, or do I want that one? That's an ugly brick. You know, I mean, me, I carry a brick. I mean, to me, they're kind of an ugly gun. But I will not promote any certain guns, and I will not cut down any certain guns. I'm not on here to do that. I'm on here to just let you make that decision. You need to look at these firearms, make a good, sound decision on your own. I'm not going to tell you which gun to buy and which one not to buy. That's up to you. But the one thing I want you to do is when you do find a firearm, I want you to find the one that's comfortable. And that's why I want you to test drive all of them they have. So when you get in there, you're going to test drive this gun. You're going to ask the guy behind the counter, the man or woman behind the counter, say, hey, can I take a look at that firearm right there? And if they're worth their salt, they're going to pull that weapon out. It's going to be just like this on a display case. This right here, the muzzle, they're going to be very aware of that muzzle. It's not going to cross you, them, or anybody else in that store. So you're going to pull this firearm out. They're going to rack it a few times. They're going to lock the slide back. They're going to make sure you see that there's no magazine in it and there's no ammunition in it. And they're going to hand this weapon to you, aware of that muzzle. When you take this weapon, you also be aware of this muzzle. Don't muzzle yourself, don't muzzle the clerk, and don't muzzle anybody else in the store. So when you look at this firearm, I want you to let the slide go. And I want you to get that master grip. I want you to see how that feels. I want you to see where your hand sits on it. I want you to see if that weapon is too big for you or too small for you, or it's just really a comfortable fit. And that finger, I know, this is the one thing. This is the greatest safety you're ever going to have in your life. You know, this is the booger hook. You keep the booger hook off of the bang switch, and you're going to be perfectly fine. If you remember that, you keep it off of that bang switch until you're ready to pull the trigger. So when you look at this firearm, you get the right feel, you get that master grip on there, and you're like, this gun just feels right. I can take this home. It feels good to me. And this is where I wished all gun shops had a little clearing barrel on their counters, because to make it even safer, because that way you can put this weapon into that clearing barrel and you can feel those sights, you can feel where they line up, and then you can squeeze that trigger and you can just press it until you hear that. It doesn't take much just to reset this thing, and you get in there and you press it a couple more times. You just get that feels right. So you look at the store owner or the clerk there and you say, I like this one, I want to buy this one. Lock that slide to the rear, show him the weapon, and hand it back to him. At that point, he'll start the paperwork for you to purchase this firearm. So once you decide this is the firearm I want, all right, I want you to think about this. If you start altering these weapons, and I want you to think about the legalities of this, if you start altering these weapons, machining them and making things cool on them and changing a lot of things on these can be brought up in court. I'm just saying. It's been done in the past. A police officer had on an AR-15, he had his dust cover on there, and on the back side it says, smile when you see the flash. Well, he put that on his duty weapon, and that was brought up in court because he used that firearm in a police officer-involved shooting. Don't do things like that to your everyday carry. Just don't. You can have toy guns, you can fix things up and just have those guns you're going to take to the range, and you're just going to have a blast shooting them. Or you're going to be in competition shooting them. But when it comes to your everyday carry, things like triggers fine, sights are fine. You can carry an optic on there. I have a flashlight on here. Those are good things. But just try to leave that weapon. Make it as reliable as possible. And the optics and everything else, those are something we're going to cover in the future. And some of these future classes. Now, once you decide to buy this firearm, you think, okay, I want all these different options on it. Just like a car. You look at this thing and say, well, I want night sights, or I want some type of red dot optic, or I want the trigger redone on it, whatever it is. You want different grip, the grip changed up on a little bit, that's fine. Get all those things done. And then when that's done, now you're going to go buy a holster. All right. I have heard everything about holsters. I have read things. I have seen law enforcement agencies that have tested holsters. I've seen videos of how holsters have failed, everything else. Well, I'm not going to sit there and cut down certain holsters. And I'm sure I just made a good noise for you. I'm sorry about that. But when you look at the holsters, all right, I want you to think about where you're going to carry this thing. Am I going to carry it on my ankle? Am I going to carry it on my hip? Am I going to carry it under my armpit when it comes to a shoulder holster? Am I going to carry it, around my waist in a belly band? Am I going to carry it inside the waistband? Appendix carry, small the back. There's so many different holsters out there. There's so many different arguments about each and every one of them. But the one thing I want you to remember is I want you to get a holster that's going to be comfortable for you. I want you to get a holster that you are going to wear every day. Something that's going to secure this firearm properly and that you're going to carry every day. I want something, and I'm not going to display any of the holsters I have. I'm not here to review holsters. I want you to do that. I want you to find the holster that's comfortable for you, and I want you to find a holster that's going to cover up the trigger. Something that nothing can fall into that trigger and actually pull the trigger. I want you to find something that's going to cover that. Once you find the holster you're going to like, and the holster you're going to carry, we can get into a little bit when it comes to the range. We'll go out to the range one of these days and we'll start talking about that in future shows. And when we get to the range, we're going to show training issues with each one of them and things you have to do to train to use those holsters. So now I want you to find the holster that's going to fit you and be comfortable with you and your new firearm. And once you find that, I want you to think about, I'm going to have to wear this thing 8, 10, 12 hours a day maybe. And so I want you to think about how comfortable this is going to be. Women carry them in purses. Some men will carry them in purses. Belly bands, anything. You might carry externally, like on a backpack or something like that. Remember, you need to get to this firearm quickly. And if you do carry them there, remember, this is everyday carry. Carry, carry, carry. You always carry that firearm. You never lay it down. Here in Idaho, we had a mother that was fatally shot by her child because she had her weapon in her purse and he got into it and was playing with it. Tragic accident, horrible, horrible, tragic thing that happened. Please, if you're going to carry a firearm, please always, always have control of it. And if you have children in your home, it's great. You train your children around firearms. You trust your children around the firearms, but I want you to remember one thing. If you don't secure that firearm, you may trust your child, but you trust your child's friends. Have they been taught the same way? Secure these firearms. If you're going to have one in your home, you don't want to put it in the safe, or you don't want to lock it up, then carry it on you. That's what it's meant for, is you carry it on you. Don't leave them laying around, please. That's the one control we do have when it comes to deaths of children, is accidental shootings. We do have control of that. Gun laws aren't going to fix that. We have control over that. We can fix that on our own. So now once you decided the firearm you want, you found the holster you want and it's comfortable. And I want it to be comfortable because if it's not, it's going to end up in your glove box, it's going to end up in your center console, it's going to end up in your dresser at home. You're never going to carry it. So please, please carry when you do find the right gun and the right holster. Then we're going to move into ammunition. You have your everyday carry ammunition, which is self-protection stuff, and you have your training ammunition. Know the difference. You can train with just plain training ammunition and be just fine. You're going to hit the same target, the same distances. So learn your rounds. Learn what you want. Speaking of the rounds, we're going to go back a little bit. You got to remember the 45 guys. The one shot, one kill. Don't need to carry but 7 rounds with me. Then you got the 9mm guys. I can carry a whole case of ammo in my magazine. I don't need to worry about one shot, one kill. Well, as you can see, I carry both. I have a 45, 9. I carry both. It doesn't matter. The ammunition of today is some great ammunition. It really is. Compared to the days of old, it is great ammunition. But just know what you're going to carry. Talk to your gunsmith. Talk to your guy at the gun store, and he'll walk you through all of that. The one thing you have to train, and train some more. When you get to the range, you've got to train the right way. Don't just go down there and throw a bunch of ammo downrange. Go there and train with a purpose. We will have future classes. We're going to talk about different drills at the range that you can become a better shot. You can become a better defense shooter. You can be a better point shooter. We'll talk about moving. We'll talk about shooting. We're going to show you how to do a lot of different drills that are easy and they take practice, but you can get there. Next week, we're going to talk about mental prep and situational awareness. So until next week, keep powder dry. Have a great one. It's great meeting you. If you like this, go ahead and hit the button down there to like this. Have a great time.